I don't know. Can you hear us? Can you guys hear us now? Is it a thing? Not a sign language stream. Yeah.
Oh, you can hear us now? Okay, great.
Oh man, I was gonna like this is gonna be our stream. This would be like, hi.
So I'll do the intro again. Hello and welcome to Office Hours. Today is Friday, November 11th. You guys know me. You guys know this guy. November 8th. You guys know me. You guys know this guy. We have a very special show for you. Barry says we're super quiet. I think I can fix that, but let me do the intro first. Let's say hello to all the beautiful people in chat, except for Barry. I made that joke last time when we were muted. Just wanted to make that joke again for you.
To be fair, he also got the date right last time.
I did get the date right last time.
So that's a thing. Are we still quiet? Is that still a thing that's happening? Because if so, we should fix that. But while we're attempting to do that, other than Barry, hi everybody in chat. That Tyler Thomas. Serious Ho.
Johnny Scar.
That was Johnny Scar with the sub, yeah. And I think Serious Yo.
Hella yeah?
Hell yeah?
Hella yeah?
Hell yeah.
That is an awesome.
Hell yeah.
That is an awesome name.
Like hell yeah. Oh,
Hail.
hell. What's up, man?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Johnny Scar with the emotes and the Ninja Jam. I love it. This is great. So this is off the run of show that we have here. But how about that Christmas sweater, right?
Wow.
Yeah, you guys ready? You guys ready? I've been listening to Mariah Carey all week long.
Jamar is ready.
I'm super ready. You have no idea.
Yeah. Our little corner of the we did like a Halloween decorations like contest in the office, and we had like different sections, like different groups of people had, you know, their own little sections to decorate. Ours was like kind of holiday themed. It was like Nightmare Before Christmassy. And by Nightmare Before Christmassy, I mean it was like some pumpkins and like a Christmas stocking.
Yep.
That was it. But ours was the best no matter how the votes went.
Exactly. Also, all the people who didn't vote for us, I remember who you are.
Yeah.
So
we know. And we remember who did vote for us, so thank you.
Yeah. So we have an exciting show for you today. Maybe exciting's too not the word I should use. We have a very interesting show for you.
Sure.
Excitement, I always think about like gunshots and bullet holes and stuff like that. I live a weird life.
Yeah. I saw Terminator the other day. That was an exciting movie.
Exactly.
I see.
So we have a show here for you today. Oliver, can you tell us what this show's about?
Yeah, we're actually going to be kind of diving into the current state and just kind of the ins and outs of influencer marketing as a whole. Because obviously, you know, a big part of what we do here at OP Group is we, you know, manage business for streamers that, you know, would be considered influencers in the video game industry. We're just going to kind of look at, you know, that specifically, but also just kind of the entire like process of that as a whole and see, you know, what's going on, why does it work, that kind of a thing.
Okay. And once again, guys, remember this is Office Hours, and it is a participation-based show. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them here in chat. We will answer them to the best of our ability. They don't have to be like officially about the topic that we're talking about. If something pops in your head and you're like, I really want to know the answer to this question, let us know. Like, how much money does Ninja make? Oliver knows.
A lot.
There it is.
Yep.
You know. So yeah, what are we doing next?
I think we were gonna like. I mean, honestly, like, is our audio good? I was honestly just curious. Like, are we okay sounding now? If we're not, let us know. Also, Xanatax, thank you for the sub. That is 3 months. Thank you so much.
Is this a sub train? Oh my god.
All aboard the sub train.
Choo.
There it is. But I know we were gonna talk about, you know, influencers and marketing stuff, and that'll all be good and fun. But why don't we talk about some, you know, some news and things?
News?
Like, I feel like a lot has been happening. Like, we haven't had a show in like a couple of weeks. And a lot has, you know, happened and come and gone. And I think it's our job to discuss some of those things with people.
Yeah. So on the top of our list here, we have BlizzCon.
Yeah.
BlizzCon wrapped up last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last week.
Last week?
I think, yeah.
And you know, a lot of people were excited for BlizzCon. I myself didn't go, but we did have a couple people from the office who went.
Yep.
Producer Adri, MMO Joe, as we like to call him.
MMO Joe was there.
AKA Cloptagon.
Yep.
Oh, you saw Joe. Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So we had a couple of people at BlizzCon. A couple of our clients went as well. In general, it seemed like a lot of people had a good time at the event, and there was also a ton of announcements that people were really excited for.
Yeah, it seemed like, I feel like, was it last year where like people were a little disappointed with the lack of announcements that happened? I feel like Blizzard kind of saw that and came out real hard and wanted to, you know, deliver with all their big properties. So we have, you know, Diablo 4 is announced and will be on its way.
It's exciting.
A new expansion for WoW is also going to happen because that game will never die.
Less exciting.
And then Overwatch 2 also got announced, which was pretty surprising to me. Like that's a game where I wasn't sure if they were going to release a sequel right away, right? Because it's kind of a game where they just kept adding more content to the game. But they have said that they're going to be basically adding like some sort of campaign mode. And then something really cool that they're doing is that all the cosmetics, I guess, that you purchased for Overwatch is going to carry over into Overwatch 2.
I think that's a great idea because, like, I played a lot of Overwatch when it came out. I played pretty solidly for like a year, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I kind of fell off just because other games and stuff. But one of the things that I initially thought of when I heard about the announcement was, oh, I have like some cool like skins that I got for like Halloween and stuff like that I would like, I want to keep. So the fact that they're doing that is really cool, and like I've seen a ton of like positive response surrounding that.
Yeah, and seriously, I was like pretty much exactly what I was thinking. Like it feels like there's a ton invested into Overwatch right now to drop a sequel, but I think they are making a good transition with, you know, the ability to, you know, carry your stuff over. And like for a company like Blizzard especially, it is a little surprising that they're going with a sequel this quickly. Like, you know, I don't know the exact amount of years between StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, but it was a long time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like
same with Diablo.
Yeah, and their reasoning for that was like, well, there's still, you know, there's still a good player base for that original game, so there's not a lot of reason to release a sequel.
And then you get into the discussion of like, if we release a new game, we're splitting the player base, and then, you know, what if, you know, the new game isn't what people gravitate to, and then like you're in this weird situation where you're trying to have like these tournaments for this game, and it's like we just rather play StarCraft 2. Like
That happened, yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
That was definitely a thing, but we'll be excited to see how the transition happens. And also they announced, I believe, like an auto chess like type mode for Hearthstone. I think also got announced. So
That'll be interesting.
yeah, a lot of new stuff coming out from BlizzCon last week.
Something else that we had on our little news announcement section was last week. Death Stranding was coming out next week, but it's actually coming out today.
Yeah.
A lot of people are playing it. I'll be playing it as soon as I get off of work. I finally got my PS4 to work. I know that.
Good.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
How does it look on like a regular PS4?
I have a regular PS4, so
Yeah.
I will definitely let you know.
Because that's my thing, is like, I kind of feel like I want it on like a PS4 Pro, but if it's fine on a regular PS4, I'll just get the game. Because I'm also not gonna buy a PS4 Pro just to play that game.
Same, 100%.
But you know, I do want to see what the hype's about. I have kind of been avoiding streams because I don't want to know. Like I tuned into a stream last night because I saw like, oh, Death Stranding.
Who was it?
It was Ashlyn.
Okay.
And it was like just the beginning of her stream, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, part of me is like, oh, I'm here at the beginning. This is perfect. And then the other part of me is like, I might want to just play this.
Yeah.
It looks good. So it's difficult. We'll see what happens this weekend when I have time and have to come to that decision of like, should I get Death Stranding today?
You should.
Yeah.
Xanatex asks, streaming it. I don't really stream, but Oliver streams, so maybe.
It's always a maybe.
Always a maybe.
Always a maybe, but probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got some other stuff we wanted to talk about. Let's see, FTC. So earlier in the week, the FTC released new advertising disclosure guidelines for online influencers. If you don't follow the FTC on Twitter, I highly recommend it. It's like pretty much the easiest way to get real-time updates from them on their current policies and policy changes, that sort of thing. The new disclosure guide it's only a couple pages, maybe like 3 or 4 slides, and it pretty much spells things out really clearly as to like what's acceptable and what's not. They also have a couple of videos that they packaged with it to help people to better understand how to disclose on the internets. I watched one of them from like a lawyer. She was very nice.
She was very nice.
She said, "Hi, I'm a lawyer," and I was like, "Oh, I'm scared."
No, but there are some really like good things that they dropped in the like FTC announcement, because a lot of it was geared specifically towards like social media and like kind of, you know, this industry in particular.
Yep.
Like, I remember they were saying specifically during a live stream, which was great to see, because that's a very, you know, that's a very directed thing towards what a lot of our clients are doing. They said during a live stream, the disclosures should be repeated enough that people will catch it.
Yep.
Now, like, again, that's kind of the vague kind of answers that they tend to give, but like, that it doesn't need to be overly complicated. Like, how often should you disclose? Enough times. Like, just say it like regularly. Try to make sure that it's clear. You know, it doesn't need to be complicated. Just plain and simple disclosure.
Yeah.
And something they also talked about like social media specifically, like, and they were saying like, again, like, don't hide like the disclosure of like hashtag ad amidst a ton of other like hashtags and stuff. Like, if you get free product from someone, just like thank them for the free product, because that's, you know, that's clearly explaining what your association is with that brand. Oh, hey, big shout out to, you know, Razer for sending me all of this stuff for free.
And it doesn't have to be any more than that. And I think that's what tripped some people up, is like they had to explain more about what, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that way. It's just like, hey, I got this for free and thank you for sending it to me. Sort of thing. But yeah, like I said, I recommend following the FCC on Twitter. I'll actually drop a link to the guideline here in chat if you guys want to check it out. I highly recommend it. It only takes like, I don't know, it's like a 3-minute read. It's not super long.
It's pretty short, and it's definitely something that, you know, is worth reading, because it is a really, you know, central part of this kind of world and stuff.
Definitely. I got some more stuff.
Yeah. What do you got?
So this one's a little different. Oliver doesn't know about this one, so
Oliver doesn't know about this one.
So we're gonna get his opinion live in the moment. So Adobe is building a live streaming into their Creative Cloud apps.
Oh.
Yeah. So they are testing currently with their new product, Adobe Fresco. If you're not familiar with it, they have an iPad app where it's basically a drawing app. It's kind of like Procreate, but they have this new app that they're just releasing now, and it has the feature for some of the users to actually live stream their content directly through Adobe's Creative Cloud. So they're dipping their toe into live streaming. The chief product officer at the company has stated that, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, it's like Twitch, but educational. So we'll see. What are your thoughts on that? Would that be something you'd be interested in? Or?
I mean, look, as someone in the industry, I'm interested enough to at least see what it is. My concern is just that, are they trying to compete with Twitch as a platform? Like,
questions need to be answered.
Yeah, like if that's a thing, because like, I mean, there's always a ton of difficulties when a new platform rises up and wants to compete with a more established one, right? And the biggest hurdle is going to be just the audience, right? Like the general user base on Twitch is just so much bigger than its competition that it's a lot, like, while a lot of people will complain about discoverability on Twitch, there are users on the platform at the very least.
So the chance is there.
Exactly. Your chances
even
of being
if it's
found.
small, like, it's there.
You know, it's just, it's interesting, especially now with how diverse content is on Twitch. Like, it's, you know, it would be inaccurate to call Twitch a game streaming platform. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
gaming is definitely the central focus, but there's, art. There's
Cooking.
yeah, there's a ton of stuff like
All types of shit.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like the fact that they would be saying kind of like it's like Twitch but more educational. It's like, well, you could probably find that content on Twitch.
Yeah.
So
It'll be interesting.
yeah.
I'm
Hi Cringer, how's it going?
Oh, hi. I'm pretty bad with drawing stuff, but I'm definitely gonna give it a try. So I know I said I don't stream, but if you guys want to check out my
Your Adobe
Adobe Fresco stream,
Adobe Fresco stream.
yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, man.
And that's all I got. Like the other things that we have on here are some upcoming stuff. We have PAX South, which is rapidly approaching. It's actually early in January this year.
January, yeah, it's like January 17th for PAX South. And then the more surprising thing is how quickly after that PAX East is going to be. It's February 27th.
Jeez, okay.
So it's like the very last few days of February into the first few days of March or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that's really early. I think that's personally I think that's too early for
Yeah.
PAX East. Like it's gonna be cold in Boston, man. Like
I've heard a lot of people say that it's going to be a frozen hellscape.
yeah.
So,
Like it's
yeah.
I don't know. When I went to PAX East like 2 years ago, it was maybe like early April or something. And it was definitely early April because it was WrestleMania weekend. So it was the first weekend of April because that's when WrestleMania happens. And yeah, that was like it was snowing still.
It's horrible. I didn't go, but I saw pictures and I heard stories. And
Yeah, it was
all bad.
It was cold. So like they're doing it. That was beginning of April. This is gonna be end of February, beginning of March. Like
Yeah.
that's super early. I don't know. Like I feel like that can't have been the plan A. Like I don't know if I'm wrong about that, but it feels like it's PAX East is gonna be a thing. And then like just I don't know. It's gonna be a long time between PAX. Like it's gonna be PAX South, and then PAX East immediately, and then big gap, and then PAX Prime in August or whatever, right?
Cringer makes a good point. Like, you got to think it hurts both because a
Yeah.
lot of people are going to skip South because
East is coming up right after.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a good point. South, like I really like PAX South. It's a fun little event, but it is emphasis on the little part. Like it's had, a hard time getting like a foothold in the PAX kind of calendar year where like
it's little baby facts.
yeah, it's a little baby PAX because
Yeah.
West has been around for a long time, East has been around for a long time. Those
Yeah.
are very well established, and South is still trying to find its place. And with East coming up, like 5-6 weeks later, like I don't know. Outside of locals to the to the area and maybe just the most hardcore of PAX
Diehards,
South
yeah.
fans, like I don't know if a lot of people are going to go to it. I think a lot of that's a really good point that I hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
And Stabby says that, and now we know Oliver's internal calendar revolves around wrestling. That is
yeah,
pretty accurate. Yeah, I mean, that's how I remember things. So it's just that is the way it is. South is the only one I've been to. I keep hoping it grows. I do too.
I like
Cringer.
South.
Like the thing with conventions, right? Like, is it's a lot of it is kind of like focused on the location, right? Like
Yeah.
it's that old saying, location's everything. And South, like the location of the convention center relative to other like surrounding things, like it's right across from like a hotel. It's in another hotel basically. Like it's right next to the Riverwalk where there's
Yeah.
tons of places to go eat and explore and hang out. It's right next to a mall where Jamar can buy pants.
Which happened.
Like it's a whole like it's got a really nice setup there in like downtown San Antonio, so it's really cool, and I also hope it grows. I would hate to see it.
So would you say that the location is good, timing not so good?
Location good, timing isn't great, but I think the timing of East is worse.
Gotcha.
Like I think like if South is going to be the January PAX, like the beginning of the year PAX, fine. But East needs to settle later in the year. Like that needs to be mid to late April. Like I think that's a good time because then it's had a few months since South.
Is that spring?
It's probably spring.
I don't know how
we're
those work.
we're in San Diego, in case you guys are unaware. So our knowledge of seasons is pretty not great.
It's like summer and then less summer.
Yeah, basically. Like I guess we're entering the wintry times now because like it's less sunny by the time like 5 o'clock rolls around, and it's a little chillier. And by a little chillier, I mean it's like 60 degrees, and we're all hating it.
Like Oliver's like wearing a short sleeve shirt.
Yeah.
Like I'm wearing this, and I'm like hot right now.
So, yeah.
PAX.
Yeah, the location good. The timing only sucks because of East. Yeah. For most of us, going to Texas in January is like having early spring. Oh, it was like a winter hellscape for Jamar and I.
Oh yeah, I did not have.
It was cold.
Oliver had his jacket on, and I think
Yeah.
he had like a freaking weird scarf thing that I made fun of him about. It was horrible.
Yeah, we Southern Californians.
We don't do well.
We don't do weather, and you know I'm okay to say that. Like, it is what it is. Other things happening lately, we're catching up on a lot because we missed like a couple of weeks. The most important thing that's happened in the last couple of weeks, yesterday was actually like National Stout Day or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's clearly the most important thing. In honor of yesterday's beer holiday, I'm drinking a stout.
Nice.
Hashtag not an ad. They did not pay me. They did not provide this product. We paid for this product, and I'm drinking it. But I'm enjoying it, so, you know,
Nice.
have a stout.
Stabby says, I remember I was running around in shorts and a t-shirt, and you guys were all bundled up.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah.
100% that is a thing that happened.
Jamar went and bought pants.
Yeah, and there was a mall across the street. It was great. So, yeah. What else do you got?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Wait, let me double check.
I had a really good segue going, and then you interrupted me, and I'm a little upset about it, but not really.
Oliver's gonna hit me later.
Yeah.
That's what
So like it was earlier. We were talking about PAX South, and it was just kind of like, oh man, I really hope that PAX South survives and doesn't go the way of the dinosaurs.
A mammoth isn't a dinosaur though.
That's a good point. So something else I wanted to touch on is something I literally read about like right before the show started, but I thought it was super interesting. There's a new social media, like social networking platform that's starting to like get popular, I guess, in India, granted, but it is starting to gain some traction. It's called Mastodon.
Mastodon. I said mammoth.
Yeah. Like I said, I literally just learned about it, so I have to like look into it. I know I'm an old person now because like I went to the site and asked to sign up, and like when I was younger, I would normally just like click on it and sign up. But this time I'm like, ooh, I should read the terms of service.
Yeah, he like put on his glasses. He was
I was like, ooh, hello. What are you doing with my data? Yeah, so it's and Mastodon is pretty old. It has been around for like the last 3 years, I believe.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it has been around a while. I've read recently that it's, you know, gained a lot of traction internationally.
Instead of tweeting, you toot.
Toot?
That's what it says.
That's good. And yeah, Barry said it well here. It's essentially an open source version of Twitter. So you can kind of open up your own like little like server thing. I think it's called an instance. And like they have their own like I don't know, like kind of general topic. So it's like there's like a gaming one or something like that, and it's kind of all of that kind of curated content, but you can interact with other things. I don't know.
Interesting.
I just thought it was interesting. Also, it reminded me of Power Rangers.
Mastodon!
Like that. And I thought I should share it with all of you because social media it is a place where influencer marketing has really become popular. You see what I did there?
You did. You tied it all together.
I did. I made it happen.
Yeah. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man. I'm proud of me too. But yeah, influencer marketing, which is kind of what this whole thing we're talking about was kind of building towards. Influencer marketing and social media are like really interconnected with a lot of people right now in terms of the way they think about it. But if you like really think about the concept of influencer marketing, it's pretty old, right? If you consider like celebrity endorsements and things like that, like it's kind of along those lines. But I think
like you go back 20, 25, 30 years and there's Tommy Lee Jones doing all of those like weird Japanese commercials, like
Yeah.
promoting like, you know, soap or whatever. Same thing.
Yeah, I think the thing that has really taken off within the last handful of years is the difference kind of between traditional celebrities and these kind of social media, like, I don't know, like pseudo celebrities, like influencers, right? Like that's the term that
Some people.
use. Some people like it, some people don't. I don't know. For me, I think the big thing is like influencers is a broad term
Okay.
that people use when they're kind of describing like a wide range of people.
Okay.
You know, I think I'm dying of boredom. That's rough, man. I'm sad to hear about your death. I don't know. We're just kidding.
If it makes you feel better, I died a long time ago.
I'm dying of heat. if that
It's
makes
so
you feel
hot
better.
in here. But yeah, I think Xanatex makes a good point. Internet famous people, like, they're still celebrities, but I think there's like levels to it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There are the Hollywood movie stars that are like the Kim Kardashians. I guess she's not really a
You know,
movie star.
she's that interesting one, right?
Or I
Where
guess she is a movie star. I don't know.
That's our show, everybody.
I'm leaving.
Yeah. Hey, Samurai King, how's it going, man? But no, like I think actually like the Kardashian Jenner group is actually a really interesting example because like where would they fall in the internet influencer versus traditional celebrity spectrum,
Yeah.
right? Like they're somewhere in the middle, honestly, because like what are they famous for? That's always the discussion, right? They're kind of famous for being on social media and like having
Being
their-
influential.
yeah, like it's a weird thing, but like the main difference I would say between those two groups, if we're separating like traditional celebrities from like internet influencers, I would
Yeah.
say is the level of interaction and trust I think that is built up between communities and the influencers themselves. So if we look at Twitch as an example, because that's obviously where we are right now. That's where we do a lot of our work. Streamers are considered influencers because they have a large community, and that community comes to value what that streamer has to say, what they think, what their opinion is on various subjects, such
Yeah.
as video games. you know?
Yeah. I agree. I'm reading your notes. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I think the trust aspect and that relatability is really kind of that driving force with what makes influencer marketing such a hot topic right now, right? Not like the store. Is that store still around?
Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
That's wonderful.
We're being saved right now.
Yeah. Oh God. Or we're gonna be murdered.
Yeah, either or, we might blow up.
Yeah.
But I think speaking to your thoughts on the trust aspect, that's like a huge thing across the board. I look at me personally. There are certain people that I go to when they like for their opinion on things.
Yes.
And it does influence my purchase decisions.
Yes.
Like before this was going back years ago, but like before I ever bought PUBG, I watched Sacriel and Anthony play a ton of PUBG.
Yeah.
And after, watching them play for a couple of hours, I was informed of the game. I was informed of like the good parts, the bad parts, the things that could be better, all these things. And I was like, oh, I'm making an informed purchase right now. And then I plopped down my money for PUBG.
Yeah.
And I never played it because I'm just weird.
Also, Samurai King, thank you so much for the sub. That is 55 months, which is
Jesus.
longer than Zach's been alive. That's the joke, right?
That is the joke, yeah.
It's longer than Zach's been alive.
And we got a bit too?
Yeah, also Freeze Monarch with a bit, Xanatax with 5 bits, Freeze Monarch with 5 more bits. Oh, man.
Wait, you paid for PUBG? Here I thought you were internet famous. Okay.
Yeah.
I hella paid for PUBG.
Yeah. I have a more recent story of that kind of influence where I was looking for a PC company based in the UK.
Oh, I know something about this.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't, we're here in California. I'm not super familiar with UK-based PC companies, but who probably has a good opinion on that is Sacriel.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, and this isn't something I thought because, he's a client of ours or anything like that. It's just like, oh, Sacriel, I know him.
Yeah.
I know what his standards are for, the kinds of things he uses.
Hang on, guys. I think I'm going to reset the camera real quick.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Can people hear us?
I think people can hear us.
I mean, can they just not see us?
No, that's just how we look.
Stabby, I just stayed like this,
Yeah,
and I can talk. Okay, audio is fine. Yeah, I just stayed like, oh.
See, we're back. You see that?
Yeah.
The mannequin challenge, yeah.
Oh, dude, that was a thing for a while.
God.
Yeah, the internet's a weird place.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were looking for UK PCs. I saw Sacriel, and in my mind, without thinking about it, I was just like, oh, well, whatever Sacriel uses, that's probably good enough for this situation. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure he's using something good. And I thought about it, I'm like, man, that is really powerful, influencing right there, right?
Because it happens subconsciously.
Yeah.
Just in your mind, you're like, oh, I know this is going to be good because I know what his standards are, and he would not use or promote anything
if it
that
wasn't good.
That didn't live up to those standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the most powerful example of influencer marketing, right? And there's a lot of things that go into that, right? If it's, I don't know, who's a sort of pseudo tech-ish celebrity
Linus Tech.
Linus, no, but he's an influencer.
Yeah, you're right.
That's different. I would also whatever Linus was and I would also probably be like, yeah, that's probably pretty good.
Maybe Adam Savage.
Yeah.
That guy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But there's less, at least for me, there's less familiarity between me and Adam's opinion versus me and Sacriel's. I know Sacriel's, I trust his opinion, right?
Yeah.
Getting back to that trust. And so for me, that was, the number one motivating factor of oh, okay, well, that's good enough for Sacriel, it's good enough for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why influencer marketing as a whole has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. I was looking up some stats to find specific numbers, but I don't know, 4.5 billion was a number I was seeing a lot of.
Wow.
That's how much money is being poured into this. Also, Toasty Chris is here. Everybody, hey, how's it going, man?
Hey.
I know that guy. But the reason that people are pouring so much money into it is because it's effective, right? It's hard to quantify the specifics of how effective it is. But when you have that moment with Sacriel, there's no way
To quantify that.
yeah, that you could track that in any reasonable way. But it's just over time, I've watched Sacriel, I know what he stands for, and so when a situation like this comes up,
Yeah.
I've associated that brand with him, so I now know that I want to, purchase that. So it's difficult, but it's really powerful.
Yeah. I see that you have something written here about a lot of companies are a little reluctant to jump in
Yeah.
to working with people on these platforms because they're just unfamiliar with it.
A lot of it is just because, honestly, the whole world of influencer marketing as a whole is very new. But if we're talking about Twitch specifically, that's, it still really is the Wild West, and that's an analogy we use a lot. But it's true because a lot of the rules and kind of best practices and stuff that's stuff that people have decided over the course of a year or two, which in the grand scheme of things is not a ton of time to research something and figure out how effective it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of this is a trend we've seen happening since January of this year. You know, like.
And I think that's why things change so often, because like everything's still being developed and worked on, and like if something worked and was super successful at one point, 6 months down the line it might not be that successful or work, just because of how the landscape has changed and evolved. I mean, I've worked in this industry 3 years, a little over 3 years, maybe 3 years and like a day, but in that time period, things are much different than they used to be, and I think you could speak to that too. Like things are just different.
Yeah, I mean, things change constantly. You know, like it's one of those things where it's like I was saying before, if something's really effective and it's working, like people are gonna do it until
it's not.
And then maybe something else is becoming popular and people are gonna start doing that. So it's going to be something that continues to change and evolve, and that people are going to have to watch, because these trends are going to keep kind of being fluid until something really substantial kind of sticks. Xanatex had a comment here that was just, whatever Linus likes, that's probably overkill, so we'll go for less than that. I mean, probably.
Yeah, probably true.
Yeah. And then Samurai King points out that there's several games that he has bought or played due to watching others play it on stream. I think a lot of us can attest to having similar experiences. I feel like we maybe... Are we doing it again?
We're doing it again.
We're doing it again. Let's see. Mr. McStabby says a part of it is the amount of time people spend watching a streamer or celebrity. You know a lot about Zach because you've spent thousands of hours watching him. That is completely accurate. And also, I want to point out, like, we are really good at this mannequin challenge, man. Like, I feel like this is a level of mannequin that is, you know...
Is it, was that the one with the stupid song that went along with it, too?
Probably. I definitely did one at, like, my last job. Not my last job, but, like, my last job.
Last year went was a soda boo.
I don't know.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, but speaking to Stabby's thought, not about me looking thoughtful, but about thousands of hours watching Sacriel.
Yeah.
It's true. Like, and I know you know the word for this, Oliver.
Maybe.
Streamers and their audience have a relationship that is
It's a
parasocial relationship. It's one-sided, right? I know a ton about Sacriel just because of the thousands of hours that I've spent watching his channel, and through that I have built basically a profile of him in my mind, and in that profile it's like, oh, this thing that he's recommending, I know because of what I know about him that I know I'm gonna like that thing, or I know that thing's gonna be of quality, just because, he doesn't know anything about me though.
I think he knows some things about us.
Yeah, well, you know, probably a little bit.
He probably knows that we work here. Maybe.
Yeah. I've hung out with Sacriel.
Yeah, he's tall.
He is very tall.
Yeah, I do this thing. People know about this in the office, but I point out that a lot of our clients are either tall or small.
I have a question. What if someone's just like regular?
I just don't comment on it. But like,
okay.
I feel like a good amount of our clients fall into one of the other categories, like
True.
Sacriel, tall. Loco, tall. Haley Baby,
small.
You know, like it's one of those things that they're significant. You know.
Okay.
So I pointed out when it happens. I learned this year at TwitchCon. I Ate Your Pie, tall.
Oh yeah, he's tall too.
Real tall. Like I had no idea. What were we talking about before we were commenting on people's heights?
So I can segue us.
Bring us back. Bring us home, Jamar.
So we've kind of talked about why influencer marketing a little bit, about the reason, especially our personal reasons why influencer marketing. Maybe we can talk a little bit about how to develop an effective campaign,
I think
or what goes into that.
Also, though, I did remember something I wanted to talk about, just because
Yes.
Xanatex brought it up with the question with parasocial relationship. It is actually still called a parasocial relationship if it is in relation to a fictional character, cartoon hero, or whatever, as the question was posed. The The term actually originates from the feeling that people have kind of when they watch their favorite like TV show. It's that kind of a feeling. So like
Seventh Heaven.
I love Friends, not Seventh Heaven.
a good one.
I really could not say a lot about Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven.
I don't know much about the show. I think what's her face was on it. Justin Timberlake's wife.
When
right?
I see Seventh Heaven. I don't really.
I don't know. You could be singing nonsense for all I know. But like, if we look at Friends, something I am familiar with, I've watched Jessica Biel. That's the name. Thanks, KJ.
Oh. I didn't know.
Oh God. But with Friends, like I've watched every episode of Friends. I've watched every episode of Friends numerous times. I love the show. I have a parasocial relationship with those characters. Because
yeah.
I've seen them go through 10 years of their lives
Yeah.
on
Heartbreak,
screen.
marriage.
Yeah. Kids.
Like being hurt.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I've seen all of that, and because of this, I have formed a parasocial relationship with them. I just no thanks. Yeah, thanks, KJ. Producer Adri has a parasocial relationship with Mariah Carey. That's cool.
And then Omid says, I have a parasocial relationship with Jamar and Oliver right now.
I think we're using the term a little too loosely. Omid, you actually know us. It's not a parasocial relationship.
I think he's trying to say he doesn't want to. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. It's like The Office and How I Met Your Mother too. Absolutely. Other shows that I've seen every episode of many times. Like
That's a good point.
I watch The Office and like I keep looking and I'm like, man, me and Creed would be real good friends, or bitter enemies. But like, how could you tell with Creed?
I've never seen The Office. Maybe
Oh,
that'll
man.
be my next.
Yeah, because Jamar
Yeah.
actually just watched Friends for
Yep.
the first time. But yeah, like the Office would be a good one.
I'll check
I
it out.
actually saw a statistic that it's like the most watched show on Netflix. So, you know,
Are they half hour or hour episodes?
they're half hour, but they're half hour, you know, from TV, so they're like 22-minute episodes.
See, that's perfect.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
run through that.
That's why I enjoyed Friends a lot.
Yeah.
It was just like I could watch it really quick and then like, okay, I watched 3 episodes, I'm done.
Yeah. Cringer has it all right. Creed and Kevin, those are the two to hang out with. Absolutely. I love Creed because he's just a weird old man.
Do we even know ourselves? Parasocial relationships with ourselves.
I
Rabbit
guess
hole?
The parasocial thing is getting out of hand, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with like Twitch again, bringing it back to here, it's kind of interesting because you could argue that it's a little more than a parasocial relationship, right? Because something that Twitch does and that live streaming platforms do that no other like medium before it has had the ability to do is it provides real-time interaction between who's on screen and who's in the audience.
Yeah.
Like right now, we can look at our audience and we can talk about how Cringer, you know, agrees with me that Creed and Kevin are the two to hang out with from
Yeah.
The Office. Like it's a new level of interaction that really helps to strengthen the levels of trust and that just kind of the power of that influence overall.
So can we redefine the term here on the show?
I mean, I don't know. We probably should because I honestly don't think it's the correct term
Yeah.
for a situation like this. Now that said,
Let's
I
send
do
this to the dictionary, people. Oh,
send-
we froze
oh,
again.
man, because you tried to send things to Webster,
I don't know why that's happening. I'm upset.
like Drake.
Yes.
Yeah. But like I will say this. I think for people that are full-time streamers, you know, they stream a lot of hours. A good chunk of their lives is streamed. Keep in mind that is still an on-camera performance.
Definitely.
Now, if you're live that long, it's going to be a pretty authentic representation of your real self, just
Yeah.
because it would be exhausting to, you know,
Be on all the time.
exactly. So it's probably a very accurate representation of yourself, but it's not, you know, like I can't say that I know someone completely just based on the fact that I watch their streams every day.
Yeah.
I know, like, who's like Tally is streaming right now. Tally streams a whole lot.
A lot.
If I watch that, I could probably say I know Tally really well. I don't know if I could say I know Rob really well. You know what I mean? I still feel like there is that difference there between the on-camera streamer and then the behind-camera, like, real person that's there. That said, I don't know if parasocial relationship is the appropriate term. It's definitely similar. I think we should make a word.
I got it. Parasocial relationship.
Parasocial relationship.
Send that to the dictionary people.
Yeah, we know the dictionary people,
Yeah,
right?
dictionary.com.
Dictionary.com. There's probably a contact us, and someone reads that probably real quickly.
So Xanatech says, if corporations have a cute mascot and tweet cute things, am I forming a parasocial relationship with their brand?
Like Discord's Wumpus? I don't know.
Wumpus is cute.
I mean, maybe we can do a whole show on defining parasocial relationships and, like, I don't know.
Serious Yo says, I think there's a large range of parasocial spectrum because I've been tuning in for a long time, and I know if I saw you guys in town, I would feel like saying, hey, but you wouldn't know who I was. Well, I know who you are. Like, I met you.
That's also a good point, right?
Yeah.
Like, and this is something we see at, like, TwitchCon. Like, I have not met Serious Yo.
You haven't?
I don't think so. I met Xanatax briefly at TwitchCon. It was like the last day of TwitchCon. I had to, like, run into the convention real quick because someone was probably doing something that needed something to happen.
Something.
And I was running in, and I saw Phelan, like, standing there real quick. I'm like, oh, man, I haven't seen Phelan, like, most of TwitchCon, so I stopped by to say hello, and I think Xanatax was, like, there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was just like, oh, my God, it's Oliver. I'm like, hi, I don't know who you are. And it's like, it's Xanatax. I'm like, oh, what's up, man? Like, it's, you know, it's that weird kind of, like, interaction where it's like, if you see someone on screen, like, if you're a viewer and you're watching someone on Twitch, like, again, you have a good idea of what that person looks like. And then, but the other way around, it's like they probably don't know you. I've definitely had that experience where, like, even it's like, if it's like our clients sometimes, you know, like I've got a real good story the first time I met DM Brandon.
Oh,
at
I've heard this
TwitchCon,
story, yes.
Where he did not know who I was for, like, days of TwitchCon. Like, I went to, like, a panel that he was doing, and I went up and talked to him. He's going to have a different story about this, but I told him that my name was Oliver, and I'm his account manager at OPG, at OP Group. And I thought that's a pretty clear introduction of who I am. Also, my face is my picture on Discord. You know, I get it. It's a small picture, but I felt like that combination of things should have been enough. But for the next few days, I kept running into Brandon, and he thought I was just stalking him until, like, the last day of TwitchCon, where, like, I think it was, like, maybe we were doing, like, a dinner or something, and he, like, walked up and he saw me. He was like, you're Oliver, my account manager, Oliver? I was like, yeah. He's like, I thought you were just creepy, like, showing up everywhere I was at. I was like, how does this guy know? Like,
what is going on?
Yeah, like, it was a
crazy.
whole thing. I'm like, dude, I told you. And he's like, no, you didn't. But I did.
Yeah.
You know why I did? Because I'm talking about it right now. So my story is true.
And the best part about this whole story is, like, they're, like, best buddies now.
I love Brandon. I'm just saying, I introduced myself. But, like, you know, it's clear. Like, I know what he looks like. You know,
like, you
I've
said
talked with
words,
him.
and what he heard was, hi, I'm creepy stalker person. Nice to meet you. And he was like, cool, gotta go.
Yeah, like, oh, okay, bye. It was super weird. Like, and I just remember, like, man, Brandon's real weird in person. Like, he has very weird conversations.
Yeah.
Also, this is a really good time, Jamar. I think we should just stop. We should just stop moving.
Let's just end the show.
No, let's just stop moving for a little bit. I think that's a good idea. Like, the camera's not frozen. We just decided to stop moving.
Yeah.
We're still talking. You just, oh, God.
Are you okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
See,
I have a bad habit of, like,
You guys couldn't see what just happened. Oliver
okay.
almost fell out of the chair.
I have a bad habit of, like, accidentally knocking into the, like, lever that, like, lowers chairs. Is our audio going to be on this whole time?
Yes.
Okay. We can do it's fine. It's like an audio podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
Welcome to the podcast.
We're sponsored
Hello,
by
welcome.
MeUndies.
Welcome to the
God.
podcast.
by
Is
the
this your
way.
podcast voice?
Welcome to the podcast. We're podcasting.
you
I'll
go.
be honest with you. I've never listened to a podcast.
Oh God. But yeah, we are actively trying to figure out the camera, guys. Sorry about that.
Producer Adri's fixing it.
Yeah, she got it. I trust her. Influencers.
Yeah, they're great.
TwitchCon. Hey, we're back. So, we talked a lot about parasocial relationships, kind of the history of influencer marketing, and like, I don't know, me being creepy to DM Brandon. Like we talked about a lot there. But if you got like we were said at the beginning of the show, if you guys ever have questions, please don't feel nervous to interrupt us. Clearly, we don't care if you interrupt us.
Yeah, we like answering questions. I say this often in my everyday work day. I'm like, let me know if you guys have any questions or need any help. We have frozen again. We should just leave it. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on
Let's
to
move
this,
on.
to
We're
this
gonna
other
move
part.
on to the. We have a second topic here, guys.
Yeah,
Also, thank you, Cringer. I'm glad you're enjoying the content.
yeah. So, developing effective campaigns. Some keys to this are understanding the game/brand that the influencer will be promoting. I think that's a huge one. You can tell, and back me. You might need to back me up on this, but like you
Okay.
can tell when people are familiar with the thing that they're promoting and when they're not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like this can go like a variety of different routes, right? Like there's gonna be good situations where it's like I have a baseball that I'm playing with. Sorry, it's gone now. But there are situations like with Ava's one of our clients, and for a really long time, Ava was very vocal and very visibly a fan of Razer products, right?
Yeah.
She always used Razer. She always talked about Razer in social media and stuff. Like everybody knows that Ava likes her Razer shit.
Yeah.
Eventually, when she, got an official sponsorship with Razer, it was a very easy kind of transition to be like, hey guys, big news, I'm officially sponsored by Razer. And everyone's like, yeah, that makes total sense. Like you're, like we all know you love the brand, like you've always used it. Like this is a really cool thing. It's a perfect match kind of a situation.
The fit's perfect.
Yeah. So like in that situation, it's a really easy thing to identify. Like, yes, is this a good match for our brand? Like, yeah, it clearly is. This is a person that, for many years at this point has talked about how much they love our brand and how much they use our products and how they recommend their product. Like, this is all stuff that she was doing already.
And also, she has a familiarity with the products too.
Exactly.
So she has that knowledge to be able to speak about things. It's great because over the course of the year, she's probably owned 2 or 3 Razer mice and a couple keyboards. So like she can, when she speaks about things, it's like, oh, I really like this feature because of X, Y, Z. It's like she knows what she's talking
She
about.
has the first-hand experience to discuss the product. And I think that's a really big thing. And you can tell the difference between when something like that happens and when, I don't like. We've seen a lot. Like I feel like I see this a lot with like a lot of YouTube sponsored content these days. Like especially a lot of the like mid rolls that you see. Like I don't know. I'll be watching like a video essay about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is a real thing that I do regularly.
He ain't lying.
And like maybe in this random, piece of video content in the middle, they're like, oh man, and then Buffy slayed a vampire. But first, we're gonna talk about, Shadow Raid Legends. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And sometimes like when these things they come out of left field, and it feels out of place, right? Like you don't have that strong association. You feel like that content creator is just reading stuff, and maybe they do love the game, or maybe they love whatever product is
Yeah.
being showcased in the mid-roll or whatever, and maybe they legitimately do, but like it's a different type of feeling from when you see it in situations where we see it with someone that talks about a product all the time or very clearly has experience with the product.
I have a kind of a similar example. Sometimes I've seen people doing promotion for, say, something that's like very like tech specific, right? And if you watch that person's channel or you watch their YouTube videos or whatever, you know that like that's not really their area of expertise.
Yeah.
And sometimes it comes off like what? How did you know about that? Like not because I know this person, but like everything I've seen up until this point, I'm like it just feels out of place.
Right. It's like their content is very much in this kind of a realm of existence, and this kind of sponsor content feels out of place. Yeah, I mean, I think finding those those perfect matches is really tricky. Something else though that's really important when you're looking to develop like an effective influencer campaign, and this goes whether it's on like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, whatever platform it is, like you need to understand that each individual like campaign is like different from one another.
Yeah.
Even if, like, let's say let's say there's we'll go back to like the Razer example. Let's say they want to sponsor you and they want to sponsor me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know. We just made a ton of money right now. It's great.
Me, not him.
But the way that you go about, executing your Razer campaign is going to be different than mine.
Yeah.
And that's because, no two people are the same, and there's not going to be an identical way to do an effective campaign from one person to another.
Yeah, our experiences are different. We're coming at it in a different way.
Yeah.
We make different kinds of content. How we integrate it into our normal content is going to be different. Yeah.
And there are a few questions that I like to look at when trying to figure out what a sponsor campaign kind of looks like.
Before we do that,
I was reading.
Xanatex. So Xanatex says, just none of the YouTubers that do seem like they understand the tech behind the crypto stuff. I've tried to get
VPN thing.
And the VPN thing, like I've tried to get into crypto, and I made no money, and my electricity bill was expensive, so I stopped. And it's mildly hilarious to see a few being like, "What is this?" But they paid me for it. Shrug. I mean, sometimes it'd be like that.
Joe and I were actually talking about crypto like on the way back today. Like we went to Vaughn's for lunch, and they have like one of those machines where you can like change your coins into like cash or whatever, or like
Oh, at the grocery store?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They have one of those machines, but like they also I guess you can get it in Bitcoin.
Oh.
Like that's an option. So like your options are like, I'll dump all my coins into this thing. It's going to take some absurd percent from my money.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And then give me a ticket that I can take to the cash register and get like dollar bills. Coinstar, that thing. But I guess another option is I can dump all my coins into this thing and it'll give me Bitcoin. And I don't understand how Bitcoins work, Jamar.
I mean, I don't understand. I mean, look, someone told me that Bitcoins are worth a lot of money. So I was like, I'm going to get me some Bitcoin. And then it didn't work out. So I'm not the expert to talk about it, but it feels like you're taking money that you have, and then you're putting it in the Coinstar machine, and you're getting like money that like you maybe have.
Have you seen? There's a on Ellen that happened like a few years ago. She tried to explain what Bitcoin was. It did not help me learn what Bitcoin was. But at one point, she compared it to a baby goat.
Seems about right.
She was like, Bitcoin is like a baby goat. And I said, I don't know if that's right, but I also don't know enough about it to tell you that you're
Wrong. Yeah.
So, for all I know, Bitcoin's like a baby goat.
Toasty Chris says the movie Dope taught me everything I know about it. Do I know Toasty Chris?
You do.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Dope, really good movie. If you haven't
Yeah.
seen it, I like it. You should check it out.
Only Bitcoin I know are the coins in Super Mario. Yes, Cringer. Yes.
I'm with Cringer, dude. I know all about those coins. Like, it's about 8 bits, you know? You get the coins. If you get 100 of them, like, you get an extra.
Thing happens.
Yeah, it's good.
Jamar froze again.
I just got so caught up in staring at you, apparently,
Yeah,
that I just stayed there.
Mid sneeze there.
That's a good one. Yeah, well, it'll come back, guys. Don't even worry about it. But getting back to the influencer campaigns thing, like we were just saying, it's going to be pretty different from one influencer to another. Yes, loving stare, guys. But some good things to ask again, and I'm going to use Twitch as an example here because that's primarily what we do.
That's the easiest thing.
Yeah. When we're looking at like a sponsored campaign, it's like, what is this game or what is this product like? You know, like what kind of genre is the game? What are the kind of people that would use this product? And that goes a long way in trying to pair up the product with who would be a good fit for it. Similarly, who is the target audience for this product? This is a question that we get asked a lot, and it is something that I think happens a lot of times with like non-endemic brands.
Yeah.
Which Jamar is going to explain what that term means in case anybody doesn't know before we move forward here.
So Oliver likes to put Jamar on the spot, but I can speak a little bit to this.
See?
So
I knew you could.
Non-endemic basically means something. Let's start with endemic, right? So that's something that is related to the industry that we work in. Let's just say that's gaming, right? So an example of a sponsorship like that would be, we would like to sponsor people to play this video game, or we would like to sponsor people to play this video game. That's a good example.
A good example.
A good example of like something that's non-endemic would be something.
We froze again.
I hate this so much.
We froze again.
Not a good example of something that's non-endemic would be something outside of
The
that
gaming industry.
gaming industry. A good example is
A mop.
a mop.
Yes.
Or like let's say food. Food's a big one. You know.
Yeah.
Hot Pockets, Little Caesars.
Little Caesars. I like the.
Endemic literally means occurs, exists in the area.
Yeah.
Tacos are endemic to the Taco Bell.
That's accurate. Tacos are also endemic to San Diego, I would say. Tacos.
God, I love tacos.
I love tacos.
Can we get tacos after this?
I mean, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. No one's gonna stop us.
I got a little work to do, but like we can get tacos
and then
work.
keep working. You know, tacos are good, man.
But that was my explanation. I hope it was satisfactory.
That was fantastic. I think that figuring out like audience demographics are super crucial to like figuring out, you know, how effective a sponsor campaign is going to be. The good thing about like Twitch is that if you're doing, you know, a sponsored campaign with someone on Twitch, like the general kind of like audience that you can expect someone to have is pretty consistent.
Yeah.
You know, they tend to be people interested in like games, beyond that like tech and whatever else kind of falls under that like umbrella. Fandom, I guess is a word now.
Marvel movies.
Yeah, like that
you know.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Are we stereotyping people though?
I think that's another conversation, but yes, I think we are.
100% we are. But also, I don't know how wrong we are.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like another big question to ask about when it comes to, you know, developing a campaign and making sure that it's effective is, what is the objective of the sponsored campaign, right? And
Because it varies.
it does. And I think that's a big one that people forget, right? A lot of times there's focus on like, okay, who do we want to use and who is their audience, and like trying to pair that up. But like, what are you actually trying to accomplish? You know, are you trying to sell lots of copies of the game? That's going to be real hard to track. Like we were talking about earlier, like let's say I buy that PC that Sacriel, you know, has been talking about for forever. Like, it's going to be hard to, you know, 100% tie my purchase to him.
Yeah.
But it's 100% because of him, you
Yep.
know? Something that we see being really effective here at OPG is the idea of campaigns centered on, like, help me with words here, like brand
Awareness?
awareness. Thank you. I was like really looking for that word. I was like, visibility?
That's also good.
Yeah, I don't know, but brand awareness was the one I was really looking to get to. Because what you're doing is you're associating a brand with a broadcaster or an influencer that people trust, and, you know, creating that association so that when I'm looking for a PC in the UK, I'm like, well, whatever Sacriel uses, that's the PC for me. And I think, like, asking yourself these questions and understanding how those questions and answers relate to your product and your campaign are really crucial determining factors in how effective the campaign is going to be. Like, if your metrics for success are difficult to measure, it is going to be difficult to measure how successful that campaign is. You know, exposure.
Exposure, super big.
Yes. So like a good example of like how you would use like about how like a campaign could be really different. Let's take a look. Like if we take a look at two games, right? They're both video games.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'm following you.
yeah, so they're both video games. So
Okay.
Twitch seems like a good place to market a video game, right?
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
the first game is going to be, you know, a third-person BR because, you know,
Okay.
are those still popular? Are we old?
Yeah.
Those are still popular, right?
Apex
Apex is a thing.
Legends.
Yeah. So something like that, right?
Yeah.
So a game like that's coming out. Also, we want to run a campaign on like a really kind of casual, like Bejeweled type mobile game.
Okay.
And we want to run a campaign where the goal is like just general brand awareness.
Okay.
Let's say both games are free, and they're free to download and play
Okay.
right now. So there's no barrier as far as cost goes. Like, how similar and how different are those campaigns going to look?
I think they're going to look completely different.
Yeah.
Just because they're going to be people who are good fits for either one of those things. And why does it always freeze when I'm doing something weird? But I think you're gonna have people who are gonna be good fits for both of those campaigns.
Sure.
And you're really looking at people whose content is more geared towards those types of things. And like, you don't want the cross too much, right?
Yeah.
So obviously there are people who play VR first-person shooters who also play mobile games.
Sure.
But that Venn diagram, that sliver is real
Specific.
specific.
Yeah.
But you do have people in this bucket, and you have people in this bucket, and you're going to want to, you know, plan your campaign accordingly
Yeah.
with those people.
Sure. And then like even the way that you present a game like that, probably going to be different, you know?
Yeah, very different.
If we're talking about the BR game, like you may want to do like 2-hour sponsored stream of that for a variety of reasons. The gameplay is going to be engaging.
Yep.
It's going to be something that is probably fast paced.
You'll
Really
be able to see a lot of the game within a 2-hour span.
exactly. Conversely, like, do you want to do like 2 hours of like this like mobile puzzle game.
Most people, like in your everyday life, you probably play mobile games. You probably don't sit down for 2 hours and play mobile, unless you're playing like Summer's War or something.
You know?
No judgment.
And again, like it's not saying that there aren't people that do that.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, a lot of mobile games are targeted at people to open it up, play for a few minutes while you're, waiting for your food or something.
Yeah.
Or you're waiting for like the bus to get there, and you have a few minutes.
You're
and
in the bathroom.
Yeah. And you want to play for a little bit, and then you want to stop.
Yeah.
And the games are designed in such a way that games like they don't go a very long time.
Yeah.
There's probably not as much like in-depth like character like progression.
Yeah.
Like it's probably like a quick like here's a game, it happens, and then it's done, and
Yep.
you move on to like maybe a more challenging version of that game.
The mechanics of the game are up front, and they're usually pretty. I don't want to say simple, but like they're not overly complex, and they're not going to get overly complex.
They're going to be very repetitive.
Repetitive, yeah.
And
Not in a bad way, repetitive.
right.
Yeah.
I would say like a really good example is Tetris. Like I don't think anyone's going to argue that Tetris is a bad game.
Nope.
I think it's a fantastic game, and part of the reason it's so good is because of how simplistic the concept and the controls are. Right?
Yeah. Everyone can pick up Tetris.
Everyone can pick up Tetris. Everybody can pretty much grasp the idea immediately. Okay, I need to fit blocks together so they form lines.
Yep.
And while it's simple, like there are levels to the complexity of it.
As Meek Mill says. You're not a Meek Mill fan?
No, I'm sorry.
There are levels to this shit.
Oh, I did know that one.
Yeah, you did know. You knew.
I didn't get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the way you would, approach a sponsored campaign for either of those game types
Yeah.
is going to be vastly different, and the perceived effectiveness of the campaign is going to very heavily weigh on how you present that campaign
Yeah.
to an influencer and their audience.
Definitely.
Cool.
So, Producer Adri, can we scroll up a little bit? I feel like Xanatex had a question. I just want to make sure that we answer it. Xanatex says, is there much of an obvious split yet between top-performing gamers in competitions versus content creators, say variety gamers? Much of an obvious split. I think I get what he's saying. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm going to read it one more time just so I know. Is there much of an obvious split yet between top performing gamers in competitions versus content creators, say variety gamers? Are you suggesting between someone who would be considered a full-time content creator or variety streamer versus someone that's maybe more of an esports personality? Because in that sense, I feel like there is still pretty significant differences in terms of skill because of the as far as getting sponsorship.
I think I kind of get it.
Okay, I see. I would say yes. Being pro at one game versus just being a personality. I think if the goal is for a sponsored campaign, I think that we've seen the personality aspect be a lot more crucial because streamers that would consider themselves variety gamers or whatever, variety streamers, their content and their audience isn't as bound to a single game or title, really. They are generally in that person's chat to hang out with them. I think that tends to be the big difference. Whereas someone who is possibly streaming their games a lot, but they're more of an esports focused person, where their goal is to win competitions. If you imagine how those streams are gonna go, they tend to be not as focused on their chat and interacting with their chat as they are playing the game and winning the game. Jamar mentioned that I stream on occasion, which is true. I do stream very minimally. But like occasionally I stream myself playing StarCraft because I used to play that game pretty competitively. And I can't play that game and interact with chat.
Yeah.
You know? Like it's very difficult for me to do because
It's just this.
Yeah, I'm just trying to win, you know? I'm not trying to interact. And I think that is something that we do see a lot. It depends though. Like there are definitely exceptions to the rule, and we see that in traditional sports as well, right? Like there are definitely like traditional athletes that have a lot of personality.
Yeah.
That are very marketable.
Steph Curry.
Very marketable. Drink his water.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Kawhi, but he's weird.
Yeah, no. He's not on the list.
You know, I really
very good at what he does.
Yeah. Buy his New Balances or whatever.
Nope.
But yeah, I hope that kind of answers your questions, Antaz. It really is just, it's a matter of focus, where the variety streamers are more focused generally on their community and interacting with their chat, so that level of personal interaction is generally a lot higher versus someone who is playing a game with the purpose of being good at the game to win tournaments because that's where they win money. You know, like it's just a matter. It's a difference in priority, really.
Yeah. Oliver, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How do you say who in Spanish?
I don't know.
How do you not know that?
I don't know. I'm not bilingual. I've been using Duolingo.
You didn't get to who?
I didn't get to who yet.
Who,
Is
what,
that,
when, why?
¿Quién?
You cheated, but okay.
No, I don't think I cheated. I don't know if anybody knows.
So I wanna broach this topic because we've talked about.
We've touched on it briefly.
We've touched on it briefly already, but who?
Who? It's a good question, right?
Who?
So, yes, we've talked a lot about how to develop a campaign, and we have even touched on like who you kind of look for to fill that campaign. But ultimately, it is going to be the biggest question that a brand is going to have, right? Like if we have a company that makes desks,
Okay.
right?
I like this company.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know where I'm going with this one. This will be fun.
Tables are timeless.
Tables are timeless.
And we froze.
Oh, I was gonna acronym it, but then I decided it was probably not a good idea.
Yep.
So Jamar and I have a Tables are Timeless company, right?
Yep.
And we decide, you know what? We're gonna market our timeless tables on Twitch.
I like this idea.
Because alliteration is a key part of our campaign. So we're going to try to figure out who wants our table. So let's say we make tables that are like, let's say we make standing desks. That's a thing that's popular with streamers, right?
Yeah.
When
Health conscious.
Exactly. So we can already with that start narrowing our field down to like, okay, well, let's look for people who have maybe been mentioning that they are looking for a standing desk. Maybe we look for
they
people,
have one.
Maybe they have one. Maybe we look for someone that's been talking about how they have back pain, and they were like, "Oh man, I really should stop sitting in this chair for like 12 hours a day." Like, you know, there's a lot of ways that we can start narrowing things down to find out who would be a good fit for our product. Now, that said, what we see a lot of times with companies, especially those that are not really all that familiar with the industry, is they will look at numbers.
Yeah.
And they will look at follower counts and viewership because that is an easily quantifiable, a really easily grasped metric for how many eyeballs are on this person, right?
And let me give an example as to how sometimes that could fail. So we're the Timeless Table company, and we're selling these timeless tables. And let's say that we identify this person that we want to work with, and their numbers are great, they're amazing. But it turns out that because of the content that they make, a huge portion of their fan base is 9.
Yeah.
A lot of the people watching that stream or that YouTube video or whatnot, or following them on social media, not going to get super excited or any good use out of our timeless tables.
No matter how great the craftsmanship is.
Exactly. No matter
know?
how well they stand or whatnot, it just doesn't. It's not going to work.
Yeah. It's not a good fit, right? And maybe the viewer...
I'm totally going to buy this table in 10 years when I have a credit card.
Yes. I'm going to remember.
Yeah.
And that table is timeless. So
Yeah.
I'll buy it then.
So while we've pushed our timeless tables to the most amount of eyeballs that we possibly could, those eyeballs are 9.
Yeah. There's a lack of relevancy in terms of connecting with that person's audience, right?
Yeah.
There's a few categories that we really look at when trying to figure out who would be like a good fit for a sponsored campaign. Relevancy being one of them in terms of like, is there a clear association between this person and this type of product?
Yeah.
Engagement. Again, that's kind of something we were talking about a little while ago when we talked about variety streaming versus like an esports personality. And then also audience compatibility, like you were just talking about. If someone's 9 and they have, a very young audience, they don't have a lot of use for knowing about our very expensive, very precisely, boutique table company.
Did I say boutique? Is that?
I don't know what you said, man.
Boutique?
But I'm just going with it. They lack need for it. We froze again. They also lack the disposable income to, purchase the table. They also lack the purchasing power to get the table, probably. Like, there's a lot of barriers for how effective this is going to be. Now, if we expand our search for our timeless table company or whatever, and we look further into things, we can probably find someone that has an audience that skews a little bit older, who like I was saying earlier, like maybe they're fitness focused, maybe there's someone that just likes making a really cool like office layout kind of thing. They want to add that aspect to their setup. Like there's a ton of different factors that we can look at in terms of determining who is going to be a good fit for our campaign. I feel like there's a big reason that some people don't do that, and that is it takes time.
It does.
It takes a lot of time to go through things and figure out, who is a good match for this campaign, whereas going to a website, looking at who's got the most people watching, that's a very quick and easy way to discern some idea of
quantifiable.
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of want to go back to something we talked about a little bit earlier. Is in that situation, Oliver talked a lot about things that like you couldn't really quantify, right?
Yes.
It's that like that X factor of like he bought that PC in our example from 2 segments ago because of Sacriel, but there's no way that is visible on like a spreadsheet somewhere.
Yeah.
And something that I've explained to people a few times is like everyone has a boss, and whoever is in charge of this campaign, like their boss says, "Hey, show me something. Like what is this? How is this going to benefit us?" And if you go by the numbers, you go, "Oh, look at this person. They have this amount of reach. These eyeballs will be on our product." The boss can look at that and say, "Oh, number, cool. That sounds great. Let's do it." Whereas this person would be a great fit because of these reasons. It's like, okay, like it's more work. Like, it's harder to do.
It's definitely more difficult, but we are starting to see this more and more frequently. It's kind of been something that's really taken off on Instagram specifically, as far as platforms go, where people and different brands are looking towards what people consider micro influencers, and that's a term that varies broadly depending on the platform.
Yeah.
Like I've had people come up and like email us and they're saying like we're looking for like small to medium-sized influencers that have about 3 million followers, and I'm like, what does a big influencer look like to you? I'm just very curious because
Probably a Kardashian.
I know, right? Because
Yeah.
in my mind, 3 million followers is a very large influencer.
Yeah, you've made it.
Yeah, like you're doing real well at that point. So that's the first thing is that kind of perception it varies greatly, but
Yeah.
a lot of brands have been going after these micro influencers that have smaller communities but more targeted communities, and they're going for them like the beauty industry is huge online as far as like on YouTube and Instagram and stuff. It's if you're a startup, makeup company. I'm going real out of my depth here. I'm gonna run out of information that I can confidently give at some point.
Oliver knows a ton about makeup. Don't even trip.
Small makeup companies starting up, like you're not gonna go to big makeup influencer. Kylie Jenner, she probably does makeup.
She has
Yeah.
her own makeup line. Yeah.
Boom. You're not gonna go to her immediately, probably, and like try to have her post something about your product on Instagram because you probably can't afford it.
Yeah. Straight up.
So you may target your marketing campaign towards smaller micro influencers because it's something that you can see a lot of value for the amount of money that it would cost.
Yeah.
The ROI is going to be very good.
Mm-hmm.
What does ROI mean, Jamar?
Gosh, Oliver, I don't know. I feel like the R stands for return.
It does.
Does the O stand for on?
It does indeed.
And does the I stand for incompetent
No.
investment?
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So, you want to try to get a lot of value out of it, and in general, it's a lot more valuable and a lot more effective to run a campaign with a micro influencer that is very targeted towards the audience you're going after versus someone that just has huge numbers, but who knows how effective that's going to be. Wow, I thought he was going to get that one. Yeah, results.
We were so close.
Yeah, results of influence. We can come up with a tons of different like things for ROI. Like, I don't know, rats on ice.
That's good.
Yeah,
I
or
saw-
terrifying.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I just went to Ninja Turtles and
Oh, yeah.
like they made a rat movie about Splinter and he was an ice skater.
Oh,
My
yeah.
whole brain just got derailed.
I mean, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Is it so it's like a Splinter spin-off
Yeah, like
on
one.
ice?
So quick aside. One day the turtles come home and they're just being rambunctious teenagers, and Master Splinter's like, dude, seriously, I'm out. Like,
Yeah, I've had it up to
I've
here.
had it up to here. Like, you got your pizza boxes all over the place. Donatello, I'm sick of it.
He's building new stuff all the time.
Yeah, you've messed with the shower 8 times. I'm over it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm leaving the sewer and I'm going to pursue my life as an ice skater. Yeah, and then it's just Splinter on ice.
I mean, that sounds real good. Rats on Ice, guys. ROI. Rats
Kevin
on
Smith,
Ice.
write that movie.
You'll see it coming to a theater near you. Probably like, I don't know, 2025.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
You could make a movie in 6 years.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's a pretty good rundown of like everything I wanted to talk about, guys. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us today.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys spending your time with us. For us, obviously, I was gonna say for us it's Friday. Obviously, for most people it's Friday,
There you
depending
go.
on
That's how time works.
where you live in the world. But
Yeah.
it's Friday afternoon for us here in the office, and like we appreciate you guys spending time with us, and we like doing these. If you guys have any questions, let us know. We're more than happy to answer them. Oh God, you guys are.
Yeah, it is. I was gonna say it is Saturday for some
It
people.
is Saturday for some people.
Like
Yeah.
I was gonna do math in my head.
Yeah.
Like I think the UK is getting
Pretty close.
very close to Saturday if they're
Yeah.
not there yet. I don't know if Barry's here, he could tell us. I guess I could also probably find out, but it's easier if Barry just tells us.
But I don't know, and you guys probably already know this. I don't know if Barry really knows what time it is ever.
That's
because
probably a
he's
good
just
point.
always
Yeah.
like around and existing. Like
Yeah, he functions off of a different clock than most normal humans
yeah,
do. Yeah, that's very true. But like Jamar said, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this Friday. Once again, apologies for the last couple of weeks. Things just got real busy, and we just couldn't quite get around to getting the show. But we should be back next week. I'm really heavily considering doing that thing where I say for certain what the show is next week and who's gonna be on the show, because then like it has to happen, right?
well, I heard
What'd you heard?
I heard on the street
Word on the street.
that there might be an appearance by Pods of War.
That is what I heard as well.
Oh.
So take that as you will.
Yeah,
Next week could be a pod show, pod people.
yeah. Pod Squad.
Pod Squad. See, I have feelings about that.
Really?
Like, I know that that's the name of her community,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's also the name of like the San Diego Padres' like.
Street team or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So it's like it's a thing.
Lived here my whole life, didn't know that.
Yeah, they got the Pod Squad. They get all excited and like, yeah, baseball.
Free T-shirt.
Yeah, you get a T-shirt from the T-shirt guns.
Ow.
Yeah, I'm always waiting for that at a game. Just,
Yeah.
Someone just fire the T-shirt gun. Just someone's like, oh my eye.
I've been to a few when we had the Chargers. I've been to a few Charger games, and they had the slingshot, and that was always fun because it wouldn't work all
Quite-
the time,
yeah.
It
It doesn't
would
work
just,
as much as you would think it would.
yeah, and you just get like this weird, awkward like thing happening
Yeah,
there.
like because it's usually like a two-person,
Yep.
or a three-person job. Like two people have to
Hold
hold
it.
it. Someone has to like pull it back, and it looks
And they-
very dramatic.
and they
Yeah.
crank on those things.
And
you
then
know?
it just kind of goes bloop.
yeah.
So it's a thing.
And then the little section that everyone does like the cheer, like
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
because you really thought you were gonna get that
Yeah.
extra large. Anyway,
Yeah.
I have a lot of feelings about the San Diego
Yeah.
Chargers.
Anyways, I digress. Thank you again so much, guys, for tuning in today. If there's no questions, I think we're going to actually wrap up a little bit early here. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next week.
Yes.
All right, that's that, guys.
Bye, guys.